Welcome back to the channel Coins Buyers, Coin Enthusiasts and Treasure Hunters. In today's video, we're diving deep into the fascinating and often overlooked world of pocket change to uncover the hidden value behind a coin you might easily dismiss, the 1986 D Lincoln 1-cent penny from the United States. You won't believe how this ordinary-looking penny could be worth over $11,000, all thanks to rare mint errors, overlooked mistakes, and elusive die anomalies. So grab your magnifying glass, because we're about to explore every little detail that turns this humble copper-plated zinc coin into a collector's dream and a potential life-changing discovery for those lucky enough to find one. The 1986 D penny, minted in Denver, was part of the ongoing Lincoln Cent series, which by then had already become one of the most collected and recognized coins in American history. Designed by Victor David Brenner with the obverse portrait of Abraham Lincoln and a reverse depicting the Lincoln Memorial, the 1986 D penny was expected to be just another standard issue among billions produced. But what sets certain 1986 D pennies apart from the rest are the rare and significant minting errors that occurred during production, which have made some of these coins incredibly valuable to numismatists and collectors across the globe. With a total mintage of over 4.4 billion coins from the Denver Mint, it's astonishing that a few escaped quality control with extraordinary flaws, but these rare anomalies are exactly what fuel the excitement of collectors. One of the primary reasons a 1986 D penny can be worth up to $11,000 or more is because of a specific type of mint error known as a double die error. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin has a misalignment or duplication in the design, causing elements such as the lettering in Liberty, the date 1986, or the motto In God We Trust to appear doubled. When such a doubling is dramatic and clear, collectors go wild for it, and the value skyrockets. Some of these double die 1986 D pennies have been found with crisp, pronounced doubling in the obverse details, significantly increasing their desirability. Another major factor contributing to the high value of certain 1986 D pennies is the presence of off-center strikes. This happens when a coin is not properly seated in the coining press and is struck off-center, resulting in a visibly misaligned design. Depending on the percentage of the off-center strike, especially if the date and mint mark are still fully visible, this type of error can fetch thousands at auction. Then there are the rarer yet extremely desirable broad strike errors, where the coin is struck without a properly fitting collar, causing the metal to expand beyond its normal boundaries, producing a coin that appears larger or distorted in shape. These broad strike 1986 D pennies, especially when combined with other errors like doubling or off-centering, become high-value treasures. Additionally, die cracks and cuds are other anomalies that can drastically affect the price of a 1986 D penny. Die cracks are raised lines on the coin's surface caused by a fracture in the die, while cuds are blobs of metal resulting from a piece of the die breaking off, leaving a raised, unstruck portion on the coin. These errors can be subtle or quite dramatic, and the more unusual their appearance, the more sought after they become by collectors who specialize in mint error coins. Then there's the mysterious world of repunched mint marks, or RPMs, which are another major reason why a 1986 D penny can exceed its face value by thousands of dollars. An RPM occurs when the Denver D's mint mark was punched more than once in slightly different positions during die preparation. If this is visible under magnification and verified by experts, it can drastically increase a coin's value. These repunched mint mark errors can range from minor shifts barely noticeable to the naked eye, to dramatic duplicates that clearly show the D punched at a different angle or placement. Moreover, in some very rare instances, coins minted in 1986 and bearing the D mint mark have been found on planches intended for other denominations, such as dimes or foreign coins. These wrong planchet errors are exceedingly rare, but when they do surface, they command astronomical prices at auctions, often reaching or surpassing the five-figure mark. Imagine discovering a 1986 D penny that weighs less than it should, has a silvery color instead of the usual coppery tone, and after testing, turns out to have been struck on a dime blank. That's the kind of once-in-a-lifetime find that makes national headlines and brings in serious money. The possibility of transitional errors also adds another layer of excitement to this coin story. Transitional errors occur when a coin is accidentally struck using materials or dies from a previous or upcoming coin design or composition. Though the official composition of the 1986 penny was copper-plated zinc, a change that started in 1982, there is always the potential that a leftover copper planchet from before the transition slipped through the system, resulting in a coin that weighs more than expected. These transitional era 1986D pennies are immensely valuable, as they combine historical intrigue with the appeal of a composition anomaly. Additionally, coins with multiple striking errors, such as a combination of doubling, misalignment, broad strike, and off-metal strikes, can become true unicorns in the numismatic world. It's also worth noting that the condition of the coin plays a critical role in its value. A 1986D penny with a dramatic error that's in mint state or uncirculated condition, often graded MS65 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, can sell for significantly more than a circulated version of the same era coin. Coins preserved in pristine condition offer more visual appeal and show off the era in greater detail, which naturally drives up demand and auction prices. Furthermore, coins with errors that are one of a kind or extremely limited in occurrence often set auction records simply due to their rarity and the fierce competition among collectors wanting to add a showpiece to their collection. The appeal of the 1986D penny also lies in its accessibility. Unlike rare coins minted centuries ago or those made with precious metals, this coin was part of everyday currency. This means there's a real possibility that you or someone you know might have one hiding in a jar of old change, tucked away in a drawer, or even stuck under a couch cushion. That's what makes this story so engaging, the idea that a small copper penny from 1986, which most people would ignore or spend without a second thought, could secretly be worth thousands of dollars, if not more. Stories have emerged of lucky individuals discovering valuable era pennies in circulation or inherited coin collections, only to later find out they were sitting on a gold mine. Collectors and dealers actively hunt for these coins at coin shows, estate sales, online marketplaces, and roll hunts, the act of searching through rolls of pennies from the bank in hopes of discovering rare finds. The buzz surrounding the 1986D penny continues to grow as more discoveries are reported and documented in coin forums, YouTube channels, collector guides, and auction catalogs. As demand increases and supply remains scarce, the value of these era coins is likely to keep rising, making them a smart investment for those interested in the numismatic market. Additionally, certification from a trusted grading service not only authenticates the coin and confirms the era, but also adds credibility that can significantly enhance resale value. Many top-graded era 1986D pennies with unique traits are encapsulated and labeled by PCGS or NGC, giving them additional appeal to serious collectors who prefer verified and protected specimens. All of this brings us to the thrilling conclusion that the 1986D Lincoln Cent is far more than just a penny. It represents the potential for discovery, the thrill of the hunt, and the astonishing power of minting mistakes to turn pocket change into life-changing windfalls. So next time you're sorting through your spare coins or visiting a coin shop, don't overlook the humble 1986D penny. Take a closer look with a magnifier, check the mint mark, inspect for any doubling or off-center strikes, weigh it if it feels odd, and you might just find yourself staring at a coin worth over $11,000. Keep searching, stay curious, and who knows, your next great treasure might be lying in your own coin jar right now. Coins, if you've ever held onto an old penny thinking it's just pocket change, think again, because today, we're exploring the astonishing story behind the 1996 United States Liberty 1-cent coin, a penny that, under the right circumstances, can be worth not just 1 cent, but up to $1,800 or even more depending on its condition, minting location, and, most crucially, its mint errors and rare features that make it a collector's dream and a small yet mighty treasure in the vast universe of American coinage. So stick around as we unravel the journey of this unassuming coin from mere copper-plated zinc into a highly sought-after collector's item, because what seems like an ordinary penny in your change jar could actually be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars if it contains just the right combination of die cracks, off-center strikes, double dies, and rare mint mark variations that transform it into a high-value rarity in the eyes of numismatists and collectors worldwide. And believe me, some of the details we're about to dive into will truly amaze you as we peel back the layers of what makes the 1996 penny so uniquely interesting. So first, let's understand its historical and material context. The 1996 Lincoln Cent was part of the long-standing Lincoln Memorial Reverse Design series, which was minted from 1959 to 2008 and featured Abraham Lincoln's bust on the obverse and the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, and this coin was composed of 97.5% zinc with a 2.5% copper plating, following the metal composition change that took place in 1982 due to rising copper prices, and while billions of these coins were minted, with the Philadelphia Mint producing approximately 6.6 billion coins and the Denver Mint over 6.5 billion, it is precisely within such massive mintages that the probability of unnoticed error significantly increases, making it a rich hunting ground for collectors who know what to look for, and indeed, among these billions lie a small number of dramatically valuable examples that have become famous within the coin community for their unique characteristics, particularly those with die errors such as double dies, which occur when the die itself is impressed more than once out of alignment with the hub, causing lettering or features like Lincoln's profile or the date to appear doubled. This error is particularly noticeable in the motto "In God We Trust" or the word "Liberty," and when these anomalies occur, they instantly elevate the coin's value, sometimes exponentially depending on the severity and visibility of the doubling. And then there's the issue of off-center strikes, another common error in high-speed minting processes, where a coin is not perfectly centered when struck, resulting in part of the design being missing or misaligned, and coins with 5% to 10% off-center strikes may fetch a moderate premium, but those with more dramatic off-centering, say 50% or more, where the date is still visible, are considered highly collectible and can bring in hundreds of dollars at auction, and in some rare cases, these errors have been found on 1996 pennies, leading to sales and estimates well beyond their face value. Then we also have broad strike errors, where the coin is struck outside of its retaining collar, resulting in a coin that appears flatter and wider than normal but retains all design elements, a condition that makes these coins stand out dramatically from normal circulation coins. And speaking of standout errors, no discussion about rare 1996 pennies would be complete without addressing the elusive and highly prized mint mark errors, especially those that involve either repunched mint marks or the presence of what's known as a floating or misplaced mint mark, where there's D for Denver or occasionally an S or even a phantom P that appears oddly positioned or doubled. And while the Philadelphia Mint generally does not use a mint mark on pennies, any aberration or mistaken inclusion could point to a rare transitional error or intentional test strike, both of which would interest serious collectors. And yes, you heard that right, some 1996 pennies may feature repunched mint marks, often abbreviated as RPMs, where the mint mark was punched more than once in slightly different positions due to misalignment or equipment malfunction. And this type of error, though small and easily missed by the untrained eye, can send the coin's value soaring into the hundreds or even thousands depending on condition and eye appeal. And beyond mint mark and strike errors, we also have what are known as planchette errors. These involve mistakes in the blank discs used to strike coins and include clip planchets, where a portion of the coin is missing due to an incomplete blank, or wrong planchette errors, where a penny is mistakenly struck on a blank intended for another coin denomination such as a dime. And such errors are extremely rare but have been known to occur in high-volume mintage years like 1996, and if you were to find a 1996 penny struck on a dime planchette, for example, the coin might appear thinner and smaller than normal and feature unusual coloration or incomplete design features. Such an anomaly can command prices easily surpassing $1000 or more, especially in higher grades or when certified by a major grading service like PCGS or NGC. And speaking of grading, the condition of your 1996 penny is a crucial factor in determining its value even beyond its error classification. As a coin graded MS65 or higher is generally worth significantly more than one in circulated or worn condition, and in the rarest of cases, coins with pristine surfaces, full luster, and strong strikes can achieve a red designation, meaning the coin has retained its original red copper coloration from the mint. This red classification combined with an error like a double die or off-center strike could push the coin's value into the upper echelons of penny collecting, with some reports suggesting prices of $1,500 to $1,800 depending on collector demand and auction performance. And we also can't ignore the role of collector enthusiasm and market trends, which can temporarily or permanently elevate a coin's perceived worth beyond even conservative price guide estimates. Because the numismatic market is driven not only by rarity and condition but by storytelling, historical intrigue, and the competitive instincts of collectors vying for a piece of history, and in the case of The 1996 Lincoln penny. Its appeal lies in the tantalizing possibility that an everyday coin in your pocket or coin jar could contain a rare feature that transforms it from a lowly cent to a treasured artifact worthy of encapsulation and certification. And over the years, some lucky finders have done exactly that, discovering error pennies in circulation or old collections and sending them in for grading, only to discover that their humble coin held significant monetary value. And if you're wondering how to identify such errors yourself, the key is to closely examine the coin's obverse and reverse under good lighting with a magnifying glass or loupe, paying special attention to the date, the mint mark if present, the edges of the coin, and any signs of doubling, misalignment, extra metal, or unusual texturing. And don't forget to compare your coin to verified images from reliable sources or auction listings, many of which document known varieties of 1996 era pennies with high resolution photos and expert commentary. And if you do find a candidate, consider sending it to a grading service for authentication and preservation, because a certified error penny is much easier to sell and generally commands a higher price than an uncertified one, especially in the online marketplace or among serious collectors who seek verification before making an investment. And finally, remember that even though the vast majority of 1996 pennies are worth only their face value, the thrill of the hunt lies in the knowledge that hidden among them are tiny variations that can make all the difference. So whether you're a casual coin hunter, a seasoned collector, or someone who just stumbled upon this video out of curiosity, take a moment to check those old coin rolls, dig into that change jar, and examine those 1996 pennies. You just might discover a hidden gem worth far more than you ever expected, and in doing so, you become part of a fascinating tradition that celebrates the incredible stories that even the smallest pieces of metal can hold. And with patience, knowledge, and a bit of luck, your next penny could be your next big payday. So keep your eyes open, stay curious, and never underestimate the power of a single cent. Today, we're diving deep into the world of rare and valuable coins, focusing on one coin that might be sitting unnoticed in your pocket change, the 1999 Lincoln 1-cent penny from the United States. This isn't just any regular penny. Believe it or not, some of these humble copper-plated zinc coins have sold for over $1,400. Yes, you heard that right, $1,400 for a coin that originally had a face value of just 1 cent. So what makes this tiny piece of metal worth so much more than its denomination? Stick around, because we're going to break down everything you need to know about the astonishing errors, minting anomalies, and rare characteristics that make the 1999 penny such a hot topic among collectors and investors alike. First, a bit of background. The 1999 penny was struck at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the small D mint mark just beneath the date on the obverse side, featuring the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln. This design, which has remained largely unchanged since Victor David Brenner first created it in 1909, is familiar to every American. But in 1999, certain batches of pennies rolled off the production lines with some incredibly rare errors that have since caught the attention of experts and collectors worldwide. Now, let's talk about these errors and how they drastically increase the coin's value. One of the most significant error types found on the 1999 penny is the off-center strike. In this error, the coin was not properly aligned with the dies during the minting process, causing the image to be printed off-center. Depending on the degree of misalignment, coins with off-center strikes can be worth hundreds of dollars, especially if a good portion of the design is still visible and the date remains intact. Another error that collectors are eager to find is the double die error. This happens when the die used to strike the coin has a doubled image, leading to visibly doubled features on the coin, most commonly in the inscriptions like Liberty, In God We Trust, or the date. These doubled features can be subtle or extremely pronounced, and the more visible the doubling, the higher the value. Some 1999 pennies with dramatic doubling have fetched over $1,000 at auction. Then there's the lesser-known but equally intriguing repunched mint mark or RPM error. This occurs when the D mint mark is stamped more than once, but not exactly in the same place, resulting in a shadow or overlap effect. These mint mark anomalies are relatively rare and can add serious value to a coin, particularly if the repunching is clear and easy to identify with the naked eye or a low-powered magnifier. Additionally, some 1999 pennies have been discovered with what's known as broad strike errors, which occur when the coin is struck without a collar to contain the metal flow, resulting in a coin that appears wider and flatter than usual, with missing or distorted rims. These mistakes are highly collectible because they show clear signs that something went wrong during minting, and collectors love these tangible clues of the mint's imperfections. Let's not forget about die cracks, die chips, and cuds. These are all forms of die deterioration or breakage that leave raised metal blobs or lines on the coin's surface. While these errors are relatively more common, some extreme examples or coins with multiple such flaws can demand high premiums due to their uniqueness. Some 1999 D pennies exhibit extensive die cracking along Lincoln's head, through the lettering, or across the fields of the coin, making them stand out in a collector's inventory. Another critical aspect contributing to the value of a 1999 D penny is its condition, or what collectors call the grade. Uncirculated specimens that have never been used in everyday commerce, those graded MS, mint state, 65 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, are particularly valuable, especially when combined with one or more of the aforementioned mint errors. An MS67 1999 D penny with an off-center strike or a double die can easily sell for over $1000, and in some rare cases, close to $1500. Even without dramatic errors, high-grade 1999 D pennies are considered desirable due to their pristine condition and eye appeal. But there's more. The sheer number of die varieties discovered among 1999 D pennies is staggering. Numismatists have catalogued dozens, if not hundreds, of small variations in die usage, positioning, and wear, each creating subtle differences between coins that may seem identical to the casual observer. These die varieties can be as simple as minor spacing anomalies in the lettering or slight shifts in design elements. When properly identified, some of these die varieties have sold for impressive premiums due to their scarcity. Also worth noting is the possibility of transitional planchette errors, though rare, where a coin may have been struck on a planchette intended for a different year or denomination. For example, in extremely rare instances, a 1999 D penny may have been struck on a 98% copper planchette leftover from earlier mint runs before the widespread use of zinc cores. These transitional errors are highly prized and can fetch thousands depending on authentication and metallic analysis. It's also important to consider the population of surviving error coins. While millions of 1999 D pennies were minted, only a small fraction display the kinds of errors we've discussed, and even fewer have been preserved in high grade. This rarity factor plays a huge role in determining value, supply and demand in action. A unique error or variety with only a few known examples will naturally command a much higher price than more common coins. This is why it's so critical for collectors and even casual coin hunters to carefully examine their change and use magnification tools to look for these telltale signs of rarity. With the rising popularity of coin collecting and the increasing accessibility of professional grading and auction services, coins like the 1999 D penny have surged in value over recent years. Social media and YouTube channels like this one have played a massive role in bringing awareness to these hidden gems, creating a thriving community of hobbyists and investors who understand that sometimes the smallest coins can hold the biggest surprises. Even beginner collectors now have access to tools, reference materials, and marketplaces that were once only used by seasoned experts. Online auctions have recorded multiple sales of 1999 D pennies with dramatic errors topping $1,400, often with bidding wars driving the prices up well beyond estimated values. As we look to the future, the market for rare error coins continues to grow, and the 1999 D penny remains a standout example of how attention to detail and a little numismatic knowledge can lead to big rewards. In summary, the 1999 D Lincoln penny might seem ordinary at first glance, but it's anything but. From off-center strikes and double dies to repunched mint marks and rare die varieties, this 1-cent coin has proven time and again that it can be worth far more than its modest face value, sometimes over 1,400 times more. So, whether you're an experienced collector or just someone with a jar of old coins sitting at home, it's well worth taking a closer look. You never know, you might just be holding onto a tiny treasure worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Thanks for joining us today and taking a deep dive into the world of the incredible 1999 D penny. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos packed with valuable tips, rare coin discoveries, and insider knowledge to help you make the most out of your coin collection. World of rare and valuable coins, specifically, the 2011 United States 1-cent penny, a seemingly ordinary coin that can hold extraordinary value due to unique and highly sought-after minting errors, varieties, and mistakes that have captivated collectors across the country and even the world. If you've ever found a 2011 penny in your pocket change and tossed it aside, thinking it was worth no more than its face value of just 1 cent, you might be surprised to learn that some specific examples of this coin have fetched as much as $1,600 or even more in auctions and private collector circles, thanks to a combination of extremely rare mint mark errors, die anomalies, and striking issues that elevate these coins far beyond their basic monetary denomination. In this video, we're going to explore exactly what makes the 2011 penny so special in certain cases, how to identify those valuable traits yourself, what errors to look for under magnification, the historical and technical background that led to these fascinating mistakes, and why collectors are willing to pay thousands of times over the face value for one small copper-plated zinc disc produced by the United States Mint, especially when certain characteristics are present. Now let's begin by examining what makes the 2011 1-cent coin unique at a surface level. The standard version of this coin features the well-known Lincoln portrait on the obverse side, designed by Victor David Brenner, which has been a fixture on the U.S. penny since 1909, celebrating the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, while the reverse side displays the Union Shield design by Lyndall Bass, a relatively modern introduction that replaced the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 2010. Signifying the unity of the states and the strength of the nation through the symbolism of the shield with vertical stripes joined by a horizontal bar and a single banner reading E Pluribus Unum. However, while billions of these coins were struck in both Philadelphia and Denver mints, and even though most of them are perfectly ordinary and circulate with no premium value, there is a slim but real chance that you could encounter an error variety that makes your 2011 penny worth exponentially more than its standard value, sometimes rising into the hundreds or thousands of dollars depending on the nature and visibility of the error, its rarity, and demand among numismatists. One of the most notable kinds of errors found in the 2011 penny is the double die variety, which occurs when the die used to strike the coin has a misalignment or duplicate image, causing certain design elements to appear doubled, often most noticeably on the date, the lettering such as Liberty or In God We Trust, or details of the shield lines on the reverse. While not every double die error leads to a huge increase in value, the clearest and strongest examples, especially when certified by reputable grading services like PCGS or NGC, can command high premiums. Imagine discovering a double die penny where the word Liberty appears as if shadowed or doubled, or where the shield's horizontal bar looks like it has been struck twice in a ghost-like overlay. These kinds of features send coin collectors into a frenzy, especially when such errors are rare within a given minting year. Additionally, 2011 pennies can sometimes have die cracks, which happen when a die begins to fracture during production, leading to raised lines or breaks on the coin's surface. These cracks can appear on Lincoln's head, across the shield, or even on the date area, and depending on their size and position, they can significantly increase a coin's value, particularly when they form dramatic patterns or clearly visible marks that are unmistakable and unique to that coin. Beyond that, you have cut errors, which occur when a piece of the die actually breaks off and leaves a void, resulting in an area on the coin with a raised blob-like feature where details should be missing. These cuts are highly collectible and can sometimes fetch serious money depending on size and location, especially if they occur in prominent areas like Lincoln's profile or the edges of the shield. Off-center strikes are another major category of errors found in 2011 pennies, and these happen when the coin blank, known as a planchette, is not properly aligned with the dies during striking, causing the design to be shifted to one side, sometimes dramatically. Coins that are 5% to 10% off-center are mildly collectible. But when you find a 50% or more off-center strike where part of the coin is blank and the date is still fully visible, it can be worth hundreds of dollars or more, especially in high-grade condition. Some of the most valuable 2011 pennies come from combinations of errors, such as an off-center strike combined with a die crack, or a double die along with a repunched mint mark. Yes, that's another factor to look out for, the elusive mint mark error, especially those involving the letter D for Denver or a missing P when it should be present, or even rare cases where the mint mark was punched twice in slightly different positions, known as RPMs or repunched mint marks. While modern minting processes have largely eliminated many of the traditional mint mark errors that plagued earlier coins, isolated mistakes still slip through the cracks from time to time, and when collectors find these anomalies on 2011 pennies, especially when they are distinct and confirmed by expert graders, they often become highly desirable collectibles. Sometimes these coins are mistaken for post-mint damage, but trained eyes know the subtle differences between machine doubling and true double dies, between a genuine mint error and simple wear or corrosion. In some rare cases, transitional errors can occur too, such as coins struck on planchets from previous years or using incorrect metal compositions. While this is exceedingly rare for 2011, it's not entirely out of the question, and a few documented cases of transitional planchette errors in other years lend credence to the possibility that somewhere out there, a 2011 penny could have been struck on a foreign or off-metal planchette, which would make it an incredible find potentially worth thousands of dollars. Adding to all of this is the ever-growing community of collectors who are passionate about modern era coins and will pay top dollar for coins with authenticated mistakes, especially if they are high-grade examples, slabbed by PCGS or NGC, and labeled with a unique variety designation. These collectors often scan rolls of pennies from banks or sift through pocket change daily in hopes of finding that one special coin that can yield an impressive return, and the 2011 penny is right in that sweet spot of being recent enough to still be in circulation, yet old enough that errors are becoming more noticeable as more people search. Auction results confirm the value of these error coins, with certain 2011 pennies selling for $500, $800, even $1,600 when a rare and dramatic error is paired with excellent condition and third-party authentication. So if you've got a 2011 penny lying around, don't overlook it. Get yourself a magnifying glass or a USB microscope, examine the date, the lettering, the shield design, the mint mark area, and the rim for signs of doubling, cuds, die cracks, off-center strikes, or any anomaly that looks out of place. Better yet, compare it to reference images online of known error varieties from reputable sources, and if you think you have something valuable, submit it for grading and certification to maximize its resale value. Who knows, what looks like a common cent could actually be a rare gem waiting to be discovered. The world of numismatics is filled with stories of people finding rare coins in their change jars, car cup holders, or cash drawers, and the 2011 penny has proven to be one of those hidden treasures when the right conditions are met. Whether you're a seasoned collector, a curious beginner, or just someone looking for that next lucky find, the 2011 United States 1-cent penny is absolutely worth a closer look, because sometimes a 1-cent coin can be worth over $1,600 when history, error, and rarity align.